I know I'm a little bit late. March is about a third of the way through, but today I'm finally going to give you my top 5 favorite movies I watched in the month of February 2025. Hello everybody, my name is Jesse and welcome to my channel. We are almost a third of the way through, or we are a third of the way through the third month of 2025 already, which is absolutely insane. This year is already flying by. I know I'm a little bit late, but today I finally want to give you my top 5 favorite movies I watched in the month of February 2025, so let's get into it. At number 5, I have Legends of the Fall. This was one of Brad Pitt's earlier movies. I had never seen it before. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great story. Brad Pitt was fantastic in it. I loved Anthony Hopkins as his father. It was kind of part love story, part war movie, kind of just like a decade-spanning story, and I love movies like that. I thought it played out really, really well, and I thought it was very enjoyable. At number 4, I have Fargo. This was a Coen Brothers movie. Again, I had never seen it. I had heard a lot of great things about it. I've wanted to see it for a really long time now, and I finally pulled the trigger on it, was able to watch it with my dad, and I really loved it. I thought everything in every performance was fantastic. I loved Frances McDormand. I thought she was great. All of their accents were so entertaining and hilarious. It's got the classic Coen Brothers comedy that we've all learned to love. I really enjoy the Coen Brothers. Their directing, their writing, I think, is always fantastic. And this movie does all of that very, very well, same as all of their other movies. I think this might be one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies, and I can see why it got so much love and got all the praise and awards that it did. I especially loved Steve Buscemi's character. I thought he was absolutely hilarious, and he gets what is coming to him at the end of the movie, and I think it's really satisfying to see, and it's kind of hilarious. Number 3 for me is How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. I was working towards watching every single DreamWorks movie before I saw Dogman. I haven't quite finished those. I will eventually. And How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World was one of the DreamWorks movies I watched in February. I love this movie. I always have, ever since I saw it in theaters back in 2019, I think. I think this is a fantastic ending to this trilogy. I love the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. It's one of my, it's probably my favorite DreamWorks trilogy, and I just love how they wrap up the story. I think Grimmel isn't an absolutely amazing villain, but I think he's fairly decent and kind of works for the story. It adds kind of more personal stakes to Hiccup because he's going after Hiccup's dragon. The way that every character's story wraps up is great. The score, once again, is amazing. We finally kind of see Toothless get to live his own life and move in his own direction for once in this trilogy, and I think it's really nice to see. Overall, I just absolutely love everything about this movie. In number 2, I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This was kind of just on TV randomly, and so once I saw it, I immediately had to stop on it and watch it. I didn't see the entire thing. I kind of started about an hour in already, but even that was incredible to watch. This is one of my favorite MCU movies of all time. James Gunn did such a phenomenal job with this movie. I thought for a really long time that I liked the first one better and that this was my least favorite of the trilogy. And after rewatching it after a while last year, before Deadpool and Wolverine came out, I had a newfound appreciation for this movie and realized that I do love this one more than the first. I think all 3 Guardians films get better as they go along. This is one of my favorite MCU movies of all time. I love Ego as the villain. We see the Guardians grow more and more as characters. Yondu gets a lot more screen time here. There are several sequences that I absolutely love and are amazing. I love the scene with Yondu and Rocket. They come a little bit closer when they're in the ship Yondu's arrows flying around, taking out all the bad guys. I love that scene. It's so rewatchable. I love it every time I see it. And overall, one of my favorite things about this movie is the soundtrack. I think every song works so well with the scene. James Gunn is so good at picking his soundtrack so perfectly. He's so good with music and just picking the right song for the right mood. He's brilliant at that, and I love it. All of these Guardians movies nail that every time. But coming in number one for me, my favorite movie that I watched in February of 2025 is Inglourious Basterds. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. It's also the first Quentin Tarantino movie that I ever saw, and it's kind of one of the movies that I credit with getting me into filmmaking and making me fall in love with movies as a whole. And I think this movie perfectly captures what Quentin Tarantino's style is. It has the stylish, almost comedic violence. It's got great cinematography, great acting. The screenplay is amazing. Every line of dialogue hits. It tells the story in different chapters, almost like a book. I watched it with two of my friends. One of them hadn't seen it in a while. The other one had never seen it. And the one that had never seen it, I loved seeing his reactions to certain things. And he was very kind of impressed with Tarantino's unique style. And I love this. I love that about this movie. It's so unique. It's a very different take on war movies than we've seen. Christoph Waltz is absolutely incredible as Hans Landa. Brad Pitt is hilarious. Like I said, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. So there you have it. Those are the top 5 best movies I watched in February 2025. What were your favorite movies you watched in the month of February? And until my next video, like this one, subscribe to my channel and keep watching movies.